Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 494. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinside.
Hey.
And Tony Korkanakis.
Yosh.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers, to 494 of the Gamecast. A Gamecast. We will be talking about the Dreamcast, right? I mean, that's our list. Is that what we got together?
Yep. I don't know
check that.
if Mike's got something.
Yeah, Mike, you didn't play Dreamcast?
No, this is one of my favorite systems of all time. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was going to say, I thought you had that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So we got our list together, top 5 of our Dreamcast games coming up. But we're going to get into that in a little bit. I hope you enjoy that coming up. Like I said, we'll be going through the decades and so the generations of consoles. So obviously coming after this will probably be PS2 and GameCube, right? So, yeah, that's generation. So we'll be getting those. GameCube is going to be tough for me, but well, you know, I have games I played because I was at Buddha's a lot, so Mario parties, stuff like that. Yeah, let's get into what we've been up to first, guys. Should we just talk about it right now, Tony? You finished Final Fantasy VII.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm playing that like crazy, but so no spoilers. But,
no, not at all. But awesome game, amazing. Like I kind of had to stop myself from instantly diving into like a new game plus kind of deal. Just because I was like, you know what, let me just take a breather from this, because it really revitalized my love for the franchise. Because I've been kind of on a downer with it ever since
13
PS2. Yeah, well, I would even say PS2 generation. And
10.
Yeah. I didn't care for 10 at all. But ever since then, and I liked 15. I think we even talked about how with some improvements it could have been Game of the Year. But obviously it was rushed.
We platinumed it, right? So.
Yeah, platinumed it, and 7 is definitely just one of the things that like this is how you do a remaster or remake, whatever I guess better.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's only part of the game. I get it, part of the story, but I'm fine with it because you get so much more fleshed out detail with the characters.
There's so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so amazing.
Makes you feel like this Midgar is an actual city, because in the beginning, in the original, like you're only there for a couple hours. It's just like,
I know.
Okay, this is like some cyberpunk, whatever, futuristic city, and you're out of here. And it's like, okay, like that could have been cooler to see and stuff like that. But this one they make sure to hammer it home that it feels and like you could live there and stuff like that. So
like there are people there living there. Yeah, that's definite. Yeah.
Yeah. So awesome game. It will definitely be controversial in certain ways. I'm not going to say anything further than that.
I've not heard what it is, but I've for the record, I have not. Usually, I like to see where I'm at, looking at chapters and such like that. I have no idea where I'm at this game right now. Like I have no idea. I'm only like 7 hours in. I'm on chapter 7.
Okay.
No, 7. Yeah, I'm cruising. I'm like playing pretty. I love the combat. Holy shit, I love this combat. Like I had the system down. Like I'm on normal. It's a little easy for me, but it's I like it because it's fun. Like I'm enjoying the combat so much. Like every time I get into fights, I stand up off the couch because I get so into like hack and slash sword. Like seriously, like I had Amanda say, "Why are you standing?" Like I just have to.
What? I have to. You wouldn't understand. I have to.
I was fighting this big robot mech. I'm like, I got to right now. But it's so good.
It's just awesome. It makes me really look forward to part 2, and what they can do, learning from this remake and how to apply it to like the next original numbered game, which would be 16 at this point. But super awesome. We'll definitely go back and maybe try to platinum. We'll see. Some of the challenges seem pretty challenging, so it'll be quite interesting. Not a story spoiler, but once you beat the game, you unlock hard mode. In hard mode, they're like, so you can't use items in battle anymore. And just like,
really?
Oh, wow.
What? It's like,
rely on that a lot.
Yeah. It's like, okay, like that's a little hard and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see.
Wow. Yeah, I've been playing like that, like crazy. Like I said, I'm 7 hours in, and I had a busy weekend, and I also like had a busy week last week, so I wasn't really able to play it too much until, really like Sunday into Monday and today. So I've been playing it. Like I'm hooked on this game now. Like it's on my mind. I want to go and play this right now. It doesn't happen often with games, and this is like a remake that I'm like I was obviously hyped for this game. This is like my most hyped. If you go back to our lists, I was super hyped for this game. I just was hoping they would pull it off, and I love the atmosphere. I love getting these characters fleshed out. I love getting new events. Like there's new things that happen. You're like,
Yeah.
like I don't really remember
What's this?
much.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about the story, but I know that Midgar was not a big aspect of the game. So it's like, okay, I'm like, where am I here? What is going on with this?
Yeah.
And you know, like there was a whole mission I went on. I'm just like, this never happened. I know this never happened for a fact. So yeah, I just like I love the combat. It's fun. It's enjoyable combat. It feels fluid. It's you get into it. Like this is what this game made me do when I was a kid. Like I remember standing up during the boss fights for this game to beat them. Like and I'm like yelling at them as I'm fighting them, and like I beat them. I'm like yeah. You know.
Yeah,
So
I think that they did a great job, like making it real time without making it like real time. Like you have those options, even though you're in your menus, you're still moving around, so they have the quick access to your special abilities. Then the combinations you can do with the different characters, and just the parrying also, like switching modes to like counter and stuff was really cool. So I'm really digging that. I also got really addicted to darts and had to be the number one on darts.
I didn't get into that. I didn't get into that. I did every mission there around that town, and like I was so bummed because the last mission I just did, I had to leave something behind I couldn't figure out how to get to. Like I was just sitting there forever trying to figure out, I'm like, how do I get to this? It's a purple materia, and I'm just like, I don't know how to get to this, and I'm like, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, no, I want to continue the story. I want to know what goes on.
But I
just
want
like,
the materia.
Yeah, so I'm like, I regret this right now. And it even asks you when you leave the area, it's like, are you sure you want to leave? Like it, because even like Barrett was like, you had your eye on something before we left, and I'm like, oh, I did, but I'm like, I'm leaving. So I had to leave something behind, and I feel frustrated because I actually was very happy that I did everything in the first part because it kind of ties into the story a little bit too, which is cool. So make sure you take your time, is all I recommend. And you know, kind of explore nooks and crannies, do your missions, do your side missions. Like the game is meant to be enjoyed, and like I don't want to give any stories away, but do your side missions because they actually really help advance some storyline that wouldn't have been said to me, I'm sure, if I hadn't done what I did. And so it was really cool to do that, and I'm so happy I did that because I was almost left one mission. I'm like, it's a stupid mission. I don't need to finish this one, but I'm like, fine, I'll go and. You know,
I will say this game.
Minor spoilers. Find your stupid cat.
This game actually has elements of your choices actually mattering. By the way, so
yeah, cool. Oh, cool. So I figured that much, but I'm just like, I'm trying to figure out like the end game. Like where does it go if it counts my choices and we're moving to PS5? What does it matter? Like, where are we going with this? Like, is it going to transfer? Is it gonna play into? Like, I don't know.
I'm sure they'll have to do some like loading of the save thing because.
Or they'll do
I can't imagine they would
thing and just like pick these events. Like, what'd you do here? What'd you do here? What'd you do here? And then something. It's
got to transfer. There's so many stuff that there's so many questions that I get asked, and I'm like, I'm like, I feel like this is important now, and I'm like, so I'm like, I keep answering like truthfully, and you know, then I made one choice. I'm just like, I don't know if I really should have said that. She took it the wrong way. All right, whatever.
No promises, Jim. No promises.
Yeah. So you know, that's it. But you know, it's I clearly remember when I was younger playing these games, and like I know what happens to certain characters in this game. Obviously, there's iconic characters, there's kind of things. I'm very happy that they shuffled up the story a little bit to introduce people earlier, and you know, so I'm happy to see that that I did not expect to see. So, or as early as I did. So, you know, it's a blur because I played so long ago, but I am enjoying the hazy memory of, I played this, I'm pretty certain. And then I'm like, wow, this looks fucking amazing now. So, all right. Other things I played, Animal Crossing. Love to hop in. Even like today, I just hopped on for like 20 minutes real quick and did my Nook points rolling in, keep my daily bonus going. I've upgraded my house. I was so bummed when I upgraded my house because I got the second edition where it just makes it bigger, and I was like, I paid for it and I didn't really read what he said it was going to be, so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll buy this without a doubt. And I went over to my house. I'm like, where's the room? I thought I was getting another room, and I'm like, oh, this is a lot bigger, I guess. But I'm like, where's my fucking room? Now I want a room, and so now I'm building for that. I want that bigger house. So the game is, game is on as you add more things, like as you, I don't know, it just keeps like, it starts off so slow, like so not much to do, and then as you add more things, just it's like, okay, I gotta take care of this before I go. I gotta take care of this. Let me just go pick up the island real quick and make sure there's nothing sitting on the ground for me real quick. That's what I did in like 20 minutes a day. I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna fish, not gonna, but I'm like, there's some weed thing going on. The guy's gonna be better currency for weeds this week, so I'm like, fucking, I'm grabbing weeds as I'm walking through, and I'm like, he's gonna get double price. So, so yeah, it's a great game, great like stopgap, like a fill of time kind of thing. And also, I've been watching the playthrough. I'm about halfway through Resident Evil, the first game, the remake. And the camera's so bad in that game. But, man, that game is weird. I knew nothing about that game. So it's like I'm watching this story for the first time ever, and I'm just like, shh. It's a spoiler? Fuck it, spoilers. It's old. Sharks? I'm like, sharks? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I was shocked to see that. I just got past that point. That's where I'm at in the game right now. But enjoying that. So, Tony, what else have you been playing? Anything else? No?
That's pretty much it for me.
All right. That means a lot. It's like 40 hours. How long would you expect?
35 for me. And I did all the quests and everything like that, so.
Yeah, I'm trying to do all the quests. I am moving through the areas quick, but I feel like I don't know if they're going to transfer your data. So I'm just like, my guys, like all the stuff I'm going to collect, like, is this going to transfer to the next part of this game? If it is, then I'm like, oh shit, I want to go back for that material. I want that damn purple material. I want it. Anyways, Corey, what have you been playing?
Final Fantasy mostly. I didn't get a chance to play too much of it, as much as I would have liked to this week. So I'm hoping to be able to get more time in there. But I did lose like an hour because because like I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to load this part, and instead of loading or saving it, I was like loading.
I did that too.
Oh my God.
I did that too.
Yeah,
I had an autosave at least. I had an autosave.
I had an autosave too. I got so mad though. I was like, did I just lose something? I was like, did I just lose something?
I would have lost 3 hours.
So that really like deterred a lot of my momentum with the game, and I was like, ouch. So
it's confusing because the cursor is not very clear as to what you're on, and I'm like, I thought I hit save and I was on load.
That's funny. I'm glad to hear that happened to you guys too.
It happened to all of us. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, because I was really like, when it happened, I'm like, why is it night? Oh fuck! Where? Oh my God! I'm at the beginning of the fucking game, and I'm like, Jesus. And then I realized that I had an autosave, thank God, to go ahead for 4 more hours that I had played, and I was like, thank God.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, that would have been I would have been talking about that on here like crazy.
But yeah, no, I really, really enjoy the combat. Again, echoing what you guys said, it's just this is how you take a game from that era, bring it to the future, and make it modern as well as fit the game that it was. So
yeah,
exciting to finish it.
I'm excited for what they're going to do with this. Like, if it didn't take them so damn long to make, I'm like, what could they do with like Final Fantasy VIII? What could they do with like, what I mean? What can they do with their older franchise?
Well, I mean, hoping they take a page from Capcom and see how well it's doing and just keep going. It's like, well
see, Resident Evil 3 was easier because it had a lot of assets from 2, and that's why they were able to churn it out so quick. I want to see what they're going to do with 4 now. And unfortunately, that's why I really would like to have seen what they've done with Code Veronica, because that would have been a better tale of how much they are working on this and how fast they can churn them out. Because now I'm not sure what Square can do. How fast can they churn these out? I don't know. But Mike, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot, and I actually finished the story of Yakuza 0.
Hey,
oh, nice.
Yeah, it's I think I have 55 hours on it total already.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
I mean,
impressive.
a lot of that is because people I normally play other stuff with were either playing Sea of Thieves, which I'm pretty much done with. I'm like, fuck that game.
Can't do it.
Can't do. There was a moment while playing with them like a week or two ago. I'm like, I don't think I can play this game anymore, guys, because I was just sick of it. It was just boring. But so they're either doing that or we're just gonna get on the same page. So I just played through a lot of Yakuza. And I got to the point where the narrative dissonance is so stark in this game. Everything like in the open world is completely ridiculous nonsense. But the actual story itself is like, sex trafficking, like betrayal, like, everyone is dying. And it's just like, holy shit. Like, this is totally different than the other parts of the game. But I finished, so I just started the end game kind of like without even noticing it. Actually, that's not true. I knew that near the end the missions get a little more urgent, so I'm just like, I'm not gonna look around for the walking erection and talk to him. I'm just gonna finish this story now. And I did, and enough twists and turns. They try to go for the heartstrings a little bit. It didn't quite get me the way I think it wanted to, just because the dissonance was so stark. Where I'm just like, oh, okay, this is different. But it was a fun game. I don't know if I want to follow what happens to these characters. I know there's a bunch of other games, obviously, in this series. But the only issue I have near the end of this is they introduce rather late in the story these abilities to sort of have your own business for the two characters you are. Who else has played this game, by the way?
Nobody.
I only got to play a couple hours of it. It didn't hook me, so I only played the first couple hours of it, and I just like it. This is just ludicrous. I don't. I
played Soothing Dogs. I like that a lot.
But
which is like a Chinese version.
I know the story of it. Like I know what he's trying to do. But
there's like 6 games in the series, so
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So. But they introduce ways to make money, like as like a primary job for both characters. But they do it rather late. Like I beat the game, but I'm in like tutorial level with all these businesses. I'm like, when was I supposed to do all this? Like, I was supposed to just stop everything I was doing just to like focus on real estate and building my cabaret empire. Like, what the fuck? But I know there's like different boss fights tied to that, and the combat grew on me a bit. Like, I'm pretty good with it. Like, I like it enough where I want to like fight more bosses. So I might go back to try to do that to unlock more things, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how long that'll keep me engaged. But
yeah. I think Korimi just came out on Gamecast, so you can move on to that one.
did that one come out after this one or no?
This was Zero. Did you play Zero?
I forget. Yeah. Zero's the one that came after
6 is on
a couple of them, and Zero came out as like an origin. So,
see, I know this is a prequel to everything Zero, and I know I'm supposed to care about what suits certain characters wear at the end, but I don't because I don't know anything about it. But I could tell by the way it's presented. It's like, look, he cut his hair. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, Kiwami is the remake of the original, so because the original was a PS2 game, so you wouldn't want to do that.
Kiwami is on sale.
Well, Kiwami's 1 then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. So this one takes place in like the 88, 89, and I think Yakuza like 1 or the first one is like 95. I want to say. Mm-hmm. I looked at a little bit of like where everything is because it gets a little confusing, obviously.
I swear Yakuza 6 is on sale for like super cheap right now.
But I'm impressed that it held my interest that much, and it was pretty good. And the combat, it wasn't that hard at the end. I don't know. I'm very confused about if I was under or over leveled because there's a lot more I can still do, but it wasn't that hard at the end. I just had to have some like health items to like beat up everyone. I do think it's funny. There is a certain enemy you fight in this game like over and over, and you just beat his ass all the time. And I'm like, why do I have to beat this guy up again? Like, it was kind of funny to me because like he's presented as like this badass like lieutenant, and he seems like super angry, and you just beat his like by like the 3rd or 4th time. I'm just like, why are you still trying to fight me, dude? Like, you're just gonna get your ass beat again. But it's funny. Very interesting game, and we'll see if it continues my interest in the little business mode that I'll go into.
Yeah.
It was fun. It's a lot, and it ate some time for me during this time, so that's good too. We
have breaking movie news right now that probably needs to be said on this podcast. Sorry, it's the Gamecast. I apologize, everybody, but AMC Theaters is now refusing to play any Universal movies ever once they open theaters again.
Why is that?
Because of the Trolls World Tour success?
Yeah. So that's honestly what they said. They said Universal's unilateral actions and intentions have left us with no choice. Therefore, effective immediately, AMC will no longer play any Universal movies in any of our theaters in the United States, Europe, or Middle East.
When Fast 9 comes out, I'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's also easy to say when they're showing 0 films from anyone for the.
How can you ask somebody to delay a film for you to wait for your theaters to be open? Like, that's just ballsy.
No, I mean, like I said, like I believe AMC will show Fast 9 when that comes out.
They will. They absolutely will. They'll find some. This is just some stupid tactic, right?
It's
now.
a tact. Well, I heard they're close to bankruptcy, AMC. So this is cool. Anyways, all right. Let's get back into the news then. Gaming news, that is. Let's go into the gaming news. So what do we got this week? We got a lot of news. Let's see. We found out this week Horizon Zero Dawn is not only a good possibility of being a co-op this new one coming out next probably next gen, but they're planning a trilogy for this series, which is not shocking because they're always planning trilogies. But co-op, what do you guys think? The original game they really wanted co-op in the original game and they couldn't fit it in time.
Why?
Yeah, I didn't think it needed co-op.
That's my initial reaction is just why? Why would what about that?
Yeah, this to me was a single player experience. Like I have no.
I loved it as a single player experience. I don't understand what
zero desire to play with other people.
Not only was it single player, there was sort of like a feeling of loneliness, along with it's a pretty.
It was part of the story.
Yeah. I don't see the need. I'm worried about this. That's kind of what I worry about when I hear rumors about the next Batman game too, because I don't see it that way, and. I guess we'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong. But yeah, this should be a single player game. I'm sorry, I don't see it working.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I don't think it needs to be in the game at all. And I'm happy they're making a trilogy for this, but it's interesting. But 160,000 Nintendo accounts have been hacked. This came out a couple days ago via The Verge. They announced this, but this is on the news. This is what happened. I was watching this on the news and I'm like, what? This can't be real. And I'm looking, I'm like, how did I miss this? But so apparently they were able to log in as those users and charge things on their cards sometimes, some of them, but there was no credit card data exchange at least, so there's nothing to worry about that way. But they did get nicknames, nicknames, account names, email addresses, for 160,000 affected users. So Nintendo is reaching out to those affected to make them reset their passwords. So yeah, I'm sure this will be a class action lawsuit.
People, come on.
This is what you need. This is on there. I have this on every single thing that offers it, two-factor, because it needs to happen. It needs to be there. The only problem is when you need to actually have somebody use something from you and you're not there. So, for me, I just ran into this problem with Apple because you can't turn.
Pros outweigh the cons.
Yep. No, I know. It does. I just ran into this problem where it's Apple, you can't turn it off once you turn it on with Apple. It's on forever. So I did this for work and somebody had to use one of my accounts to buy an app on their device from me, and I'm like, I can't turn off my you have to text me when you're going to buy it and I'll text you the code back. That's what I told him. That was what we had to go get around it. So, but yeah, you need to have that on, folks. If you're not using two-factor, use it everywhere, especially Facebook. For those wondering, please use that on Facebook. I've dealt with multiple friends getting hacked, and I told them, please use this. And they would need your phone as well. If they have your phone and your password, you're in a lot more trouble than your Facebook getting hacked.
Yeah.
So, yeah, or any device. That's the way you look at it. Like Nintendo, if you're going to buy something and you don't get your prompt, if they have your phone as well, then you're in a lot of shit. So what else we got? Stadia Connect was today. They offered, by the way, this is still around, apparently. Yeah, Stadia's around.
Do they name this after just everything irrelevant they could think of? Stadia Connect?
Yeah, so, no, they called it Stadia. Yeah, Connect, that's right. But
it's a Nintendo
I think
Direct.
It's their Direct. I don't even know what games they announced during this thing, but they did offer their Play for Everyone. They have a try Stadia today and get 2 months of free games with Stadia Pro. No downloads. They offer that now. Nothing to do with the original subscribers, though. They don't give them anything special here. I heard the free version is coming soon still. It's not even out yet, or is it out?
I thought they were giving it out.
Yeah, I don't think.
Were they giving it out?
If a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Does it make it through this year?
I think Google will throw enough money for at least a year.
All right.
But I just don't see it ever being.
I think they're rebranding it, aren't they, or something like that? I think they're going to rebrand something.
Probably. I hope so.
But... Yeah. And that's already causing more fears for developers. So, Let's see, WWE games. We talked about this last week of possibly being canceled. Well, 2K21 is canceled officially, and they've announced WWE Battlegrounds. Holy crap. It looks fucking terrible. Like, it just looks horrible. Did you guys see this game announced? It's big head mode. Big head mode, alligators. I think The Rock threw somebody into an alligator. It's people are on fire. It looks like NBA Jam for wrestling.
I was gonna say, like, is this NFL Blitz for WWE?
So, yeah, 2K is going to be hopefully releasing a newer version of their shitty game from last year, but they're taking at least a year off from its primary game. So,
good.
Yeah. Okay, and now for the main story of the week, Last of Us Part 2, Last of Us 2.
Oh, did you? Just really real quick before we want to get into that, did you see that the Rock Band's still like releasing songs, and they had to remove a song because it has the N-word in it, and it was still got released. So people were singing the song with the N-word coming out.
Ooh.
Wow. Wow. I didn't even know how they're releasing songs. I thought they were done.
Rock Band 4. Like,
wow.
Juice is the song.
Wow.
Anyway, let's get to Last of Us.
Let's do the good news. To eliminate a whole genre of music.
So
new release dates.
Good news for everybody out there. The good news. Ghosts of Tsushima now is coming out July 17th. Big game. I'm so happy that's actually coming out that soon. And The Last of Us 2 finally has a new release date. It's June 19th. It's great news. They just want to get it out early, Mike. There's no reason.
That's why.
No panic.
Yeah, early.
Cool.
So
good guy, Naughty.
What we're inferring here is
the bad news.
What we're moving into here is the bad news, where Last of Us 2 apparently had like their entire plot leaked. It was like from an employee, from what I understand.
Supposedly an employee disgruntled over like a pay dispute or something like that.
Leaked the whole.
Beautiful. I kind of love this a little bit, but keep going.
Yeah, so details ending leaked via the employee.
Like straight up videos. Actual videos.
Holy shit,
on YouTube.
I thought it was a type story.
No, it's on YouTube. Got released on YouTube as a dev development.
So you gotta be careful, like links you click on now for like video. Jesus Christ! I thought it was just words.
Like I wouldn't go anywhere. Like I would stay away from. I would mute if you're on any social. Just mute it if you care about that. Mute Last of Us 2.
But the problem's gonna be is like when somebody asks a question about like how does Dom Die come up?
I know. Be careful for the next 2 months. But
can't go on. Although you know what YouTube is doing, they're like sort of. There's a new button to open comments now. Like
it stays closed at first.
Yeah, it's weird. They just did that, but
yeah, no, it's kind of shitty that because it's not just about him, it's affecting everybody.
Yeah,
hundreds of people. Crazy. And I do feel bad for everybody that gets this spoiled because it's like, especially if you're a big fan of it, and that's the people that would be looking for information right now. So I feel really bad. I'm not going to get spoiled because I'll stay away from it.
I am torn about it because I was on the fence about getting this game anyway, and I don't know. I'm curious, but I don't know if I want to get it or not. Obviously, I feel like if I decide I don't want to get it, I'll just go and look at it, but I don't know for sure.
The problem is, Mike, is like, what am I going to be playing in June right now? Like,
I mean, I'm doing backlog stuff myself.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's going to be some. Oh, by the way, did you see the season pass for Arkham Knight is $5.99 right now?
Okay, I bought that at launch.
For me, I've never bought it, so I'm like, I could probably play that.
Those are good games. That's good DLC. The end one.
I know it's a hell of a lot of DLC. The entire season pass. It's crazy. But I have Doom to play, and I have Final Fantasy, and I have Animal Crossing right now, and I don't know. Oh, Persona. I want to play Persona, so that's another one. Maybe I will be able to skip this game. I don't know, because that's a lot of hours.
You're not skipping it, Jim. There's no way you're skipping this.
Yeah. I won't spoil it for myself either way. I'll stay. Stay the
I
course.
did. I spoiled it for myself because I don't.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, I mean,
now the thing is, I haven't seen it, but I have seen like a general reaction to it, and people seem like they don't like what they saw.
People are not.
Well, the thing is, I wonder like the difference between reading it or watching it, or experiencing yourself. How does that affect what you're going? Because there is a journey that you're going on, so.
Right, but no matter how it happens, people are gonna be mad. Like
no, I mean I imagine.
I'm gonna
polarizing.
Is it like
I'm gonna be making
like
so much content. I'm gonna be making.
I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know like right now. Because like.
Well, we already
know
that.
If, like, oh, it's kind of like the first ending, or if it's like not like that. Like I don't even want to know these things. It's just.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I would like to experience this myself, and we have waited this long for it, and might as well.
Yeah. Okay.
We already know though that Troy Baker said for us to keep an open mind going into this, so I fully understand that the bullet points will be like rough.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all I can say is
it's shitty what the guy did.
Okay.
It's a shitty thing.
It's shitty. It's shitty, and yeah.
It's
it sucks because it's so freely out there. It would be one thing if it were just like one scene
you're
or
not
something
going to
like
be able
that.
to stop it, right? That's the thing is like they're not going to be able to contain it now.
It's
Right.
and I can't imagine this has to hurt it significantly. I think so. That's why it's like significantly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll still be a measurement of success, But you're right because like the thing is like there's going to be people like me like. I'm not saying it was a guaranteed no for me, but it was like leaning no. I was like, you know what? We'll see about reviews.
Unless you heard it was like spectacular.
Right. Yeah. But even now, even if I hear it's spectacular, like just knowing what I know now, I'm just like, I have no desire to experience any part of what I just found out. Like, A, wouldn't be surprised anymore, but B, I just don't want any of that. Like, I just don't. So, just, like I just know, like now it's a confirmed like pass for me. Like it's just like. Yeah, maybe if it's like $10 or they give it away for Plus at some point, but I have no desire to get it anytime soon.
A lot of it for me depends on just how bored I am in June.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where we're at. All right. Let's see. Who is riding a dirt bike outside right now? Jesus, sorry if you can hear that. I hope you don't hear that. It's fucking 10 o'clock at night and they're riding a dirt bike around my house. All right. I lost my train of thought. Let's get into our list. The top 5 Dreamcast games, in our opinions, of all time. This was an impulse buy for me, the Dreamcast, by the way. I had just started at EB Games. This was my first day of work, was launch day. Was launch day of Dreamcast was my first day of work ever at EB Games. And I was like caught in the hype. It was my first day there, and I'm like, I want this. So I had my grandparents buy it for me back when because I didn't even have a paycheck yet. So they bought it for me for my birthday. Well, not birthday.
1999.
That was my first day of EB Games. Man, I was there for a while too. So yeah, I got fond memories of this Dreamcast. The VMU, great little device. I mean, what a cool, useful tool for like calling plays in NFL. I mean, that was awesome. Other than that, it wasn't great, but you could play like little games on it when it wasn't in the system.
Like Tamagotchi type games.
Tamagotchi stuff, yeah.
Make your Chow's Tamagotchis with that, pretty much.
Yeah. So, all right. So this is going to be our top 5, and this was a tough list actually for me. I had my top 3 pretty quickly, and then it was like, what do I put in my 5 and 4 slots? And
there's a lot that I left off that I would love to put this on my list, but I can't.
I'm just hoping I didn't forget any. I don't think I did this time. Like, Skies of Arcadia almost made my list. It did not. I really love that game. But ultimately, I was like, it's not going to make it. I'm not going to make my list because I'll kick the list off with my number 5, and that was Project Gotham Racing. And I was a big racing game fan back when this system came out, and this game had damage in the car. So you could drive a Ferrari and get the thing damaged, unlike the competitor that was on the market at that point in time, Gran Turismo, where they could not have damage in the cars. I think the first few times I played Project Gotham Racing, all I did was drive straight into the wall to see what kind of damage I can do to the car and see all the damage you could see to it. It was unbelievable. Graphically, it was an unbelievable game. It looked fantastic back in the day. From my memory, I don't even know what a screenshot looks like it now. But I really love this game. And this was the future for Microsoft in terms of Forza. Eventually became Forza. But Project Gotham Racing is where that started. And I love this game so much. Really enjoyed it. And playing my own music tracks during the game. That was the key. I would do that all the time because that was a feature that Xbox had. Not Xbox, Dreamcast. Or not Dreamcast. I'm thinking about Dreamcast. Sorry, not Xbox. Dreamcast. No, yeah, it was Dreamcast that had that, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but anyways, that was a great game.
Never did it myself, but yeah.
Yeah, but Project Gotham Racing was awesome.
Yeah, wasn't Dreamcast like super susceptible to piracy because it was just CDs pretty much?
Oh yeah, all you had to do was burn CDs and you were fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it.
So that was my number 5. Michael, what's your number 5?
I had trouble for my number 5. It was like almost a 3-way tie, but I'll go with Virtua Tennis. And the reason why I'm going with that is because my other 2 were Rush 2049 and NBA 2K, but I've played like other games similar to those before, but I've never really gotten into a tennis game like I did Virtua Tennis. This was somewhere in between like sim and arcade tennis. It had like the real people on like I guess the World Tour stage at that time. And graphically, it was just about as good as anything looked at that time. They were pretty realistic looking dudes in that game, and it was just fun and it worked. It was like a real good tennis game that made tennis fun to play, like in a video game. And there really hasn't been anything like since I think that's gotten tennis as like fun as that, other than maybe Wii Sports. So it was definitely one of the things. And all of the sports games, honestly, on Dreamcast are real good too. I almost did 2K because that was the beginning of NBA 2K. And even was also a football NFL 2K as well. But I just doing Virtua Tennis because it was so more unique and more like tied to the Dreamcast in my mind going forward.
Yeah. Just a quick question. I was calling Project Gotham. It's Metropolis Street Racer. My fault.
Okay, I was like, Project Gotham.
My
Yeah,
fault.
I was like, that's definitely an Xbox game, and that's where we got.
Metropolis Street Racer is Bizarre Creations' first game, which was on Dreamcast, which was fucking great. And it was awesome as it became Project Gotham Racing on the Xbox. That's where I was going with the story, and like the dirt bike rider, I think has me messed up. So
we got Geometry Wars from that game too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So I forgot Geometry Wars. Shit, I knew I was going to forget something. That could be number 5.
That was on Xbox. I'm talking about.
Oh, it was on Xbox. That's right. Okay, that was on Dreamcast. Armada was what I was thinking of. I forgot about Armada. Armada was good.
That was a great game. Yeah.
That was a great game. I did not put it on this list.
I mean, it's great because we got to play it like, together and stuff.
Yeah. Now I'm like questioning my 5th. But anyways, go ahead. What was your number 5?
Who? Me or Tony?
Who we got? Tony. Sorry, Tony. We'll go in the same order from before.
My number 5 was a game I actually didn't play too much, but mostly watched other people play, was Shenmue. Despite personally not really being my preference and stuff like that, it was still an interesting story. A new take on a video game thing. It was propped up by Sega. You know, ultimately, in the annals of history, it was the one that led them to the downfall of them being in the hardware business and stuff like that. But it's one of those ones. It's like, you know what? Despite everything, it deserves a spot of recognition there.
Yeah. It might show up later. So, but
my number 5 will definitely show up later, I assume.
What's yours?
That's Soul Calibur.
Oh yeah.
That probably.
Great.
Yeah, I mean that's probably got some of the best tightest 3D gameplay like in a fighter, even to date. Like I'd say, and this is a launch title. Like it was amazing. So, really great characters. Obviously, sequel to the Soul Blade, was it? I think
Soul Blade, Soul Edge, depending on if you're
they just expanded on it and made it fantastic. And the Dreamcast just like was a system that could handle what they were doing and just made it amazing fighter.
Yeah, that was a great game. All right, my number 4 was PSO, Phantasy Star Online.
All right. That was my number 3, so I'll talk about it soon.
Oh, good. All right, PSO. Following PSO 2, I think is like people are excited because it's actually coming out here finally. Right? Is it just getting released? But man, this was I played this with Buddha, and this was before like broadband really was widespread. Because I was playing on dial-up with this game a lot of times, and with the Dreamcast modem, and so my connection wasn't great, but I loved like the areas and the interaction with it. This was like my pre-World of Warcraft love. Like this was like getting into the community area, just having fun chatting. This was, you know what's funny is like this system, I have such a curve of loving online play so much until the thumbstick dude, Corey. And then everything has gone downhill since. I had such a bad experience that I never wanted to play online with people I didn't know again. Like I just don't. World of Warcraft was an exception.
Well, no, it was like NFL. We play online. We played online all the time. Like
we loved it.
2K. And with this, we were winning this game, and there's a point where you have to kick a field goal like extra point. And you just if you keep getting a penalty, you have to keep repeating it. So we score a touchdown and they just penalized us. So they just kept penalizing us, so we couldn't get out of that field. So they just rubber band the controller, so they would go off sides. So we just have to keep kicking the thing until we quit.
Yeah, that's
how you do it. Quit out. Yeah, I was so bullshit, and it was like the last second of the game we scored the winning touchdown, and the guy got on the chat and he's like, you know what, guys, he's like, good game, good luck winning, I'm out, and I'm like, what? And then it was just offsides every play.
Penalty.
Yeah, penalty. But anyways, PSO was fucking great, and I played as the wizard on that, and man, I love that game. Like the fireball, I mean the epic dragon fight. I just remember that so much. And I played that. I would like farm that guy nonstop. I love this game. Tony was number 3. You loved it even.
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, I've never really cared for the Phantasy Star thing, but the whole gimmick of it being online community, cooperative gameplay. You know, as a Diablo fan, I was like, oh yeah, you know, this is cool. It's pretty similar to Diablo. It's a looter, you know, shooter or caster or whatever and stuff like that. Had this awesome, you know, futuristic, anime.
Yeah.
Sci-fi, you know, vibe going on.
Yeah.
You're exploring these planets, you know, doing these missions and stuff like that. Had an awesome like hub city world thing going on, and there's a lot of customization for your character and stuff like that, and had like really in-depth systems for its time. It was just an awesome experience. I loved playing it with, you know, friends of mine, and you know, I even got it when they re-released it on GameCube and played it on there. So awesome title.
Yeah, it was great.
I'll talk about this later.
Oh, yeah. Cool. So that was your number 3. Mike, what's your number 4?
This is a little bit of a deep cut, but Dynamite Cop. Do you guys know this game at all?
I remember that one, yeah.
I don't remember that one.
It's basically a...
Die Hard.
Yeah, I think it's a spiritual successor to like the Die Hard arcade games. This is my favorite like co-op game for the system. Me and my brother played this all the time. Real short sort of campaign that you could start from 2 different angles. Cooperative, like, so it's almost always, it's meant to be played pretty much with 2 players, and it's just so silly. You're basically like evil pirate Hulk Hogan kidnaps the president's daughter, and you go in there, and yeah, it's a beat 'em up.
I gotta look this up. I think I played it.
You beat them. It's a beat 'em up, but there's also weapons. You actually can pick up magazines if you have a gun. You have a couple of those. Use that. There's like progressive damage as your shirt gets like more ripped as it goes on, and it was fun, and it's something you could just play over and over again, and it just sticks in my mind. And
yeah, I never played it, but I remember the artwork. Obviously, I sold it in stores, but
yeah, no, it was a real funny game. And, I enjoyed it. It was our jam for a bit.
All right. Tony, what was your number 4?
Imagine we'll talk about it later, so I'll just mention it now. But Resident Evil Code Veronica.
Yeah, I never played it, so I mean, I wasn't into the Resident Evils like I said before, but I know somebody else loves that game, so obviously we'll be talking about that in a little bit, I'm sure. Corey, what was your number 4? Corey, what was your number 4?
Oh, I got a crying kid here. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
All right, my number 4 is Skies of Arcadia. I'll be back.
Oh, what's Skies? Oh, good game. I almost made that on my list. Like I said, it was like number 5, borderline with Metropolis Street Racing. But I was like, I'm into racing games like crazy. That's why I went with Metropolis. Give us the Resident Evil rundown, Tony. Go ahead. You talk about it.
Resident Evil, I mean, it was one of those things where this caused my brother to purchase the Dreamcast because he's a huge Resident Evil fan. And it was one of those things, because he had it in the house now, because we were teenagers at the time, I had access to it, and I would just buy Dreamcast games to play and stuff like that. But Code Veronica, it tried a lot of new things, brought some interesting gameplay to the franchise. Has this sort of like, weird relation, because it's not a true numbered thing, because it was one of those deals that Sega had made with Capcom to try to like steal some franchises away from Sony, which I think it even came out on PlayStation 2 later as like Code Veronica Gold or X or something like that or whatever like that. But yeah, it was a fun game. I never beat it because I got stuck at the end with not enough equipment and magazines and stuff like that. So I just forever,
that same thing happened to me. Is like I got saved in a bad spot and then just got locked in that situation. Couldn't do anything about it. Spoiler alert: this game is not on my list.
Oh wow!
Oh, thank God Tony talked about it then, because we were gonna let you go here.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Corey, Skies of Arcadia, number 4. Like I said,
Yes.
I almost made my list, and it's.
No, this is like one of the big like tentpole RPG games that came out. I was like, we didn't really have Final Fantasy games on our system. And so this was kind of like, on Sega systems, I should say. This was kind of the like, oh, this is what we get excited for. And it didn't disappoint. It was like, you're just like basically this sky pirate, and you got to fly around in space or in sky ships that, fly in the air. And it's great characters, good story. It actually came out again on another system, I think. GameCube, okay. So at least other people got to play it, because I know it hasn't gotten too much play, and I would love to see the sequel because I really enjoyed the world. It's kind of like the steampunky world.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yep.
So I would love to see them bring this franchise back and make a sequel or something in this universe. But yeah, that's cool. That's my number 4.
All right, number 3 for me, Soul Calibur. This the fighting game, like the fighting game, in my opinion, that defined that, like, I don't know,
3D
that
fighting
generation.
game.
3D fighting games, that generation of fighting games. Like, I just think that was
all right. I'd say for 3D games.
3D fighting games, yes, because looking at my list, that's not true. But my point was like the Tekken style, like 3D fighting. This had weapons too. Like this was like crazy to have weapons.
Yeah. This was my number 3 as well.
Oh, good. So yeah, I mean, it brought weapons into play. I'm like, how is that going to work? Because I remember like Bushido Blade back then. I'm like, that was like a different style game, and this one was like a fast-paced fight. So it was cool. And they had ring outs, and the characters were awesome too. And the graphics. I mean, this thing brought graphics that you had not seen in a fighting game before. I thought it looked amazing.
This was the next level. That's, I guess, why.
Well, it took like the arcade game and made it better than the arcade game.
This is one of the few games that look better than the arcade. Like if you look at the arcade,
first time that happened.
It looks terrible.
Yeah.
Kind of, foretold the end of arcades in a way, because once we got to the point where consoles could, do better than arcade or match do better. So for me, like this was the big. Obviously, the weapons were the big thing for me. 3D, great looking game, and it just it sort of defines the Dreamcast a little bit in a way, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that IV cover is like iconic. Like,
I want to have a poster of that, like totally
exactly.
Poster the box art. The soul still burns. It's like I can remember the intro and stuff like that.
It's funny because even playing like the latest Soul Calibur, I feel like, wow, this is almost too much of the same thing as it was back then, but it sort of like takes you back right to that time. It's like, oh, it's like 1999 again, like playing Soul Calibur, like this is that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this game, it looked amazing. Corey, we were still playing our tournaments for this game. We did tournaments for this one as well. Talking back to our tournament times. So. All right, number 3 for Tony was Phantasy Star, which we talked about. Corey, what was your number 3?
My number 3 is Shenmue. Shenmue was obviously an iconic game. It was the big blockbuster from Sega that, Tony mentioned, basically destroyed Sega in the hardware game, bankrupt them. But it did things that we hadn't seen before in games and introduced us to quick time events, essentially, and menial forklift tasks.
Oh, yeah.
But play lucky hit?
One play lucky hit? You go into arcade, play some arcade games from the old Sega games, and it was kind of one of the first games that introduced open world with like this virtual fighter combat almost, and it was really interesting story that just we knew it was going somewhere and then eventually didn't, but obviously this was the first one. So.
This was so cool. Like this is my number 2, so I'll just piggyback on this. And it was like obviously this is a game that kind of killed the Dreamcast. Not to mention piracy, but this was one of the games that really killed them with a budget. But it's fantastic. All the little mini arcade games you could play, like the older Sega games, were in this game. And the combat, I loved the fighting in this game, which is why a lot of people say I should like Yakuza. But I didn't really like the craziness that was Yakuza. This game though was like a role playing style.
because I missed this at the time, and I just played.
This is a more focused storyline, like.
Yeah, and I love the story. Love the story.
Okay. I'm just wondering if I ever get a chance to play these.
It's not on Game Pass?
They were, but I think it just expired.
I think I thought they.
Yeah, I think it's off.
It might be back.
Yeah.
I mean,
it will be.
Sega and Microsoft have a good relationship, so.
Yeah, and they published 2, didn't they, over here? But so like this game looked phenomenal too. Like back in the day when this came out, I was like, holy shit, this is like in-game graphics. Holy crap!
Dreamcast when it first came out, I was like, we're never getting any better than this.
I mean, you could buy a Coke, buy a drink, you could get a job in this game, and just like Corey said, drive forklifts. Get money and buy things and get little trinkets and pachinko machines. You guys remember the pachinko machines?
Mm-hmm.
Were in this game, and I just loved it. The world was excellent. The characters were excellent. Love this game. This is my number 2. So I obviously have talked about Shenmue so much that it's funny that I did not like 3, but this one though was special. Like it really was. Like so I think this was the one with this was the bike scene one. Rescuing Nozomi on the bike ride. That was a very very artsy moment. I love that part. So, and the music.
Quick time events, man. First time I've.
QTs. Yeah, quick time events in Shenmue. That's where they started. I think. I'm pretty certain that's where they started. So, Mike, what was your number 2?
My number 2, I'm sure, is like half of your number 1s, if not all of it. But it's.
Oh yeah. You don't have to go on. Go ahead.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2. This is about as good looking as sprites got, I think, ever in a game. But for me, I've only really played like Capcom stuff and similar games, even the predecessors or the precursors to this game in arcades. I was never like a huge Capcom fighting game fan, but the inclusion of these Marvel characters and all of these Marvel characters is what got me in. So basically, we had a superhero fighter, which, as you know me now, I love that idea. That's why I'm an Injustice fan. But this was the first one, and Marvel was the shit for me at this time. Led by the X-Men characters, of course, but just the number of characters, the 3-on-3 thing, and the fact that unlike a lot of even games within the same series in the future, this is way more accessible. I mean, I know maybe this is why I never got into the mechanics, but it's like easy mode in this game. Kind of like just press the triggers if you don't know what you're doing.
You would get rolled by people that know what they're doing, though.
Well, who am I fighting?
That's
the
in-depth level. That's the in-depth level of this game. Like that's the fun part about this game is the accessibility
I had
game.
to go against a 9-year-old. Like that was.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, like that was the best part of this game. Was like, yes, on the surface, this game is very simple and repetitive. Oh, I'm frozen. Yes, on the surface, this is very simple and repetitive, but it's not. There's a flow to it. There's a mastery of it that makes it extremely challenging and fun to beat people with. So as we'll get into, but anyways.
I liked it, obviously, mostly for the characters. I hardly touched the Capcom characters, to be honest.
It was my number 2 as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's my number 2 as well.
Oh, we didn't make it number 1s.
Interesting.
So this is my number 1. I'll just give it up now. So we'll just talk about it all at the same time. So go on.
Yeah, I mean, for me, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's an amazing game. But at the end of the day, it's a direct port of the arcade unit, which isn't a bad thing. It's impressive that it's
fantastic.
It's a 1-to-1. Don't get me wrong.
It ran amazing.
Right, it's a 1-to-1. And that's amazing. And I think out of the PS2 and Xboxes that was later ported, it even ran better than both of those systems.
Right. And this was the best version of that game.
The best version of that game and stuff like that. And I mean, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, like, that defined our friend group. You know, I remember Jim, even when you would come down to visit Boot, or, you know, he would bring me to your place, like, we would just play that game
play after
all
hours.
the time.
Yep.
I mean, we even played it in arcades, but yeah, I mean, that game is amazing. The soundtrack somehow works with that jazzy, you know, want to take you for a ride.
Didn't seem like that was going to work at first.
It's just ridiculous enough to. It's like Yakuza to me. Like it's ridiculous, but it's funny and like endearing.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the gameplay, the roster was incredible and unsurpassed until, you know, maybe with Smash Bros. I don't even know, or maybe one of the Mortal Kombat anthologies or something like that. But huge roster, all the favorites, and especially, you know, being a '90s kid, like seeing, like, you know, Mike, all the '90s X-Men characters, you're like, hell yeah, you got Cyclops, you got Gambit, you got Storm, obviously Wolverine, Magneto,
Cable, the
Sentinel,
Wingbutt.
Cable. Oh my god, yeah. I mean, Cable was my main, and stuff like that. But just amazing game, amazing.
Yeah, I agreed with all of that, and like I said, it played the best on the system for some reason. Capcom could do sprite-based games, or Dreamcast, Sega could do sprite-based games really well. But yeah, it was just it took the arcade game and brought it home, and it was like spent so many quarters on the arcade game, and now like you can just play it all the time. Game is worth like crazy amount right now too. It's just like on eBay, it's like $150 like for a used copy.
Ooh, I gotta see if I still have mine.
You know what's crazy is I should have brought. I have all my copies, like my games. I should have just brought them here and like put them on the screen while I was like saying them.
Yeah, I mean that's why I made my number one, was because I understand it's in the arcade, but we didn't have to go to the arcade for the hours of gaming that we did for this game. Like the amount of enjoyment we got out of this game for the cost was unbelievable. And like my team, I always remember my team. Spider-Man, Magneto, Ken. That was it. That was my team. I love that.
You make Spider-Man work in that game. I always tried to be him, and I always kind of found him weak in these games.
Spider-Man was great for his additions, his supers, and his aids for me. So Magneto and Ken were my two actual damage people.
I see. So he sucks.
He's fine. I mean, I was okay with him.
Viable, he's not tournament viable. Like nobody would ever show up to EVO with Spider-Man. Like I'll say that. But the thing is, if you're not playing at the tournament level, like any team can work, really.
I understand. I always just tried to be him, but felt he wasn't.
Honestly, Cable is freaking amazing, and Sentinel, right? Sentinel was always. I was never good with Sentinel though, so I can't put him on the list. But my number one game, it looked amazing, sprite, and it holds up today. It looks fantastic now, and the music was weird, but it worked. And the boss was weird, but it was still fun to beat him over and over and over and over again. We beat him I don't know how many times. Like I would play this if I was bored at like a bowling alley and they had this game. I'd pop over and just run through it and beat it real quick. That's what I would do.
Did you get something for beating him? Because I remember beating the boss a bunch of times too, and I don't know why I did that.
It's unlocking characters.
You would unlock like
unlocking characters,
I mean, you would unlock the characters, but then you would hold like extra color outfits. Yeah. Like that's how you got like a lot of the extra like black outfits, I think, or whatever like that.
Yeah. All right. Number one, Mike.
I don't know if anyone else is going to say this because this is one of those games that people are iffy on in the future, but I'm going to go with Sonic Adventure. For me...
This game is infamous for me.
For me...
Fuck this game. Sorry. Fuck this game. This game was broken when it launched. Do you know how much shit I got at my...
Let Mike go and you can talk about that.
Nothing about the game. It's just about how it was printed wrong.
Well, I don't know about that. But... It was obviously, as a Sonic fan that hadn't really played a new Sonic game at this point in like 5 years at least, this was exciting. It was Sonic's 3D entrance, and the graphics again were a big thing. But for me, the thing that makes it memorable and why I like it more than even the ones afterwards that some people prefer is the hub world, the open world, the adventure aspect of it, where you had these different areas you would travel through, like on foot, and you could find emblems to unlock different things. You could, you had the chows, which I called KOs at the time because I didn't know how to pronounce them because they're chaos based, and switching characters like that, it was cool. Aside from the two that were totally shitty, but 4 of the 6 characters you played as were pretty fun. But it was just this whole new world of like 3D Sonic, and it wasn't annoying yet.
No, I understand your point. It was a gorgeous looking game too. Like
gorgeous game. I like the whole you leveled up. You got gear and shit. Like, and that sort of like light speed like spin dash with like the flying like blue things around him is like that was like visually awesome at that time. It's just like, wow, I got this upgrade now. Is this how Sonic's gonna be now? He's gonna like have all this like these lights and stuff. Like this is and just exploration, and the levels were mostly good except for Big the cat and Amy the stalker.
Yeah.
But it was just and at the time I thought the story was great too, but I was young.
But I was young.
But the idea of chaos personified as a villain was pretty interesting to me too. So
cool.
You got backstory to Knuckles, which you never got before too, but whatever. So this defines a system for me, and even though not all of it has aged as great as some of these other games, I can't not put this as my number one game at the Dreamcast.
Okay. All right. Tony, what made you number one?
My number one is actually Soul Calibur.
Oh, nice.
Exactly what I was talking about. Like, don't get me wrong, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is probably my favorite game that was ever on the Dreamcast. But when I think about an original game on the Dream, like they took that arcade game and just did wonders with it. They added extra modes, they added extra characters, they made the game just look visually stunning. Like I remember when my friend got the Dreamcast, I went over to his house to play. I was like, dude, this looks better than the arcade. And he's like, I know. And it was just one of the things we were like, holy shit. And like, I remember we'd have tournaments too. We would challenge each other going through like story mode and like the arcade mode and whatnot. And I just remember like looking at that and going, wow, like this to me, because I remember the demo of the Dreamcast had like, you know, an EB and whatever. They had Sonic Adventure. And don't get me wrong, it did look good. Was never really a big Sonic fan. But when I saw the Dreamcast playing Soul Calibur, I was like, I remember just like my jaw dropping and just wow, wow. And the game played phenomenally, and it still holds up today. Like if you put that game in a Dreamcast handmade controller, like I'll play that easily, you know. And I know a bunch of my friends would too, because it still holds up. The core mechanics, the fluid gameplay, the frame rate, all of it, it's still playable in 2020.
All right, cool.
Agreed.
All right, Corey, you're number one.
My number one is Phantasy Star Online.
Oh, yes, nice.
So
nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you had already mentioned, Jim, like playing with Buddha, playing with you, getting that 3-man team going.
Yes, it was that's right. It was 3-person. That's right. I couldn't remember exactly the team mode, but you had to meet up and join a team.
I mean, you guys know with me and my, farming and looting stuff. This game may have been one of the games that triggered those those instincts in me and got me on that path because it was so cool, and doing it with friends and like you were saying on a dial-up connection was just unheard of. But Dreamcast, like built-in modem, like that was amazing for one, and then getting a game like Phantasy Star to play that online all the time, that was just awesome. Like being able to do that with people, and it opened up my eyes. Like, wow, you can do online gaming and have it be fun and enjoyable and stuff. And that I just remember that like vividly being one of my most enjoyable moments with the Dreamcast, just being able to do that. And yeah, it was quite a departure too from what Phantasy Star was, because it was just a turn-based game. It was like Final Fantasy or whatever, and then they turned into this futuristic online.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I would say that maybe this paved the way for World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 11 to exist. Take a popular.
That's true.
Series.
It really wasn't any MMO kind of style games, really. I mean, there was Ultima and stuff.
Oh,
Ultima. Not really. Yeah,
it was different. Yeah.
But yeah, just taking a franchise that's been established and then turning it into something that it isn't, and bringing people together to do it. It was amazing. And that's like you guys mentioned also. I mean, just being able to play with friends. So and farming bosses and getting those. All the loots and stuff and upgrading.
This was my peak.
Customized.
Like I said, this was my peak online play was during the Dreamcast, which was crazy because it was dial-up.
Yeah.
All right.
They did it. Yeah.
So, I mean, our list is going to look like, I think our list is going to be, what?
Oh, real quick. Do you guys remember, I forget if it was in the Dreamcast version. I know it was in the GameCube version of PSO1 and 2. When it was like, they had like themed events, like when it was like Christmas time, they would like have like
I don't
Christmas
remember
trees.
those.
Maybe it was only in the GameCube version.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
But like they they decked out like the hub world and stuff like that. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, cool. I think they did that in the Dreamcast.
I think they had something with Sonic Adventure actually too with that.
Yeah. So, all right. Our list is gonna look like this. Freeze.
Yeah, a little.
No? Yeah, I'm getting choppy internet now, so it's ready to end this one. I have Sonic Adventure at number 5 because Shenmue has more points, but that's a number 1. Or do we switch them?
Go by the points. It's fine.
Sonic at number 5, Shenmue at number 4, PSO at number 3, Soul Calibur at number 2, and MVC2 at number 1.
Solid list.
That's our list. That's It's a great list. It's a great list. Sorry, the other ones that didn't make the finals.
What's funny is Marvel vs. Capcom didn't make. Oh, it was your number one, right?
It was my number one, and it was a bunch of number twos. It was all number twos and a number one.
Yeah.
So everybody else we all had a different number one. How cool is that for the list? So, all right, that's gonna wrap up this episode. Thanks for tuning in. You can write us podcast at allyoucangeek.net. Follow us on Twitter, allyoucangeek. Like us on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it, and the like button. Tune in next week for more topics, more lists. We've got more systems coming your way. PS2 or GameCube. We're not sure yet which one. So thanks again.